admire, that I learn from every time I speak to. So thank you so much, Nikki and Gael, for logging in. So for those of you who haven't met Nikki and Gael, Gael has been an alumni of Academy of Entrepreneurs. So he left Australia around about April last year when he had finished the program with us. He was already a coach before. Hello, Chanel. He was already a coach before he moved to Australia. But then when he came to Australia, he started connecting new dots and growing his business and also growing his network. And now he is unstoppable. Last time we did a live, I was just so proud and impressed with everything that he's like achieving over in New Caledonia and also around the world, because now we're all connected online, which gives us more opportunities to do more amazing things with bigger groups and build bigger communities with bigger impact. And Nikki also is an alumni for Academy of Entrepreneurs. So she recently finished a diploma at Academy of Entrepreneurs. And I love Nikki's journey because she has a very similar passion to me towards food and nutrition. And she's connected, well, let me see who needs to go mute here. Mute. And she connected the dots which most people had never realized the importance of, understanding that once you can master your brain, you will master your health, which will master your eating health habits and everything else. And I can see Gael nodding, because then automatically you will master the power of your brain to take away all of these limits, because the only limits we have is the limits that we create in our brain, right? Coaches? Yes?
Yeah,
and this is why we invited you guys over for today's session, to understand what's going on in our brain, what are these weird limits that we put in our brain, and let's get rid of them as soon as possible so we can achieve our full potential. And the reality is that our full potential is unlimited. And the first question that I have for both of you, Nikki and Gael, is why is coaching so important, and why is it that we can never achieve the same results without a professional coach? So Nikki, why do you think coaching is so important? Because I know that you're a successful coach, but you also have your own coaches.
Yeah, right.
Why is it that it's so important? What is the magic results, and why is it that coaching is so powerful and each and every single one of us needs it?
Yeah, I think if you look at anybody who's at the very top of their game, like all of the biggest, the professional athletes and even singers, and anyone like Oprah Winfrey has a coach, Mo Farah has a coach, everyone has a coach who's taking them, they pick them up on their bad days, they can see, we all have our own blind spots that we are not able to see. And a coach can just really help you identify where that is, and not necessarily say, well, this is a flaw of yours, but really just help you, guide you through your strengths and your weaknesses, because we all have both. And when we get in our own heads, our weaknesses can be the things that pull us back. So I think pushing past the idea of that a coach is there because something negative is happening, and just accepting that we all need somebody else to help us guide through our challenges.
It's the other way around. The coach will make you so much better, right? Like you never leave a coaching session without feeling like you're stronger, more prepared, and more ready for the next steps. And what are your thoughts, GT?
My thought, I will concur with Nikki, and thank you for that. And I love to say that a bottle cannot read its own label. And you said that very well as well, Nikki, we need someone that is neutral, that to just see our blind spot, as you said, because many people think and among my clients, most of my clients say, oh, before I was helped with my friends and family. Mm-hmm. But when you're helped with your friends and family, you're in the same circle of I wouldn't say that, but the same problem as the problem, right? It's the same circle. So it doesn't help you to get out of this circle of your thought, and also because your friend and family knows you well, and they don't want to hurt you sometime, or they want to please you. And as a coach, sometimes you're just gonna pinch where it needs to be. And it's where this is why Nikki said that, and you said that as well, Paula, is that having a coach helps you as well to really get out of your head as well.
Yeah. And one thing that we hear again and again and again is that people don't change. That's true. Because like you meet, I don't know, often like you start a relationship and the person has something and you work on so hard and making them realize their full potential of something. And then some people, it's said that people don't change. But I have seen some incredible transformation also in so many of our legends, so many of our ambassadors and people within our community. What are your thoughts on that statement that is so often repeated out in the world?
Yeah. Well, my thoughts on that is that if I was to say people don't change, that's probably because I have wanted somebody else to change. You know, I don't think you would really say that about yourself, like I can't change, because if that's the case, then you're just in a really fixed mindset. I think anyone who believes that would be implying it on someone else, probably a partner, probably an ex-partner who's not done what they want them to do, or like a boss or something where a relationship's kind of failed. Of course you can change, but you have to want to do it. So, you know, Paula, if you was going to hire a coach, but every time you turned up and your attitude was like, this is rubbish, I don't want to do this, I don't want to, you're not going to take any of it on because you're not in the right frame of mind. But if you are actually going to learn and to adapt new qualities and to learn new strategies to improve, then of course you can change. We all have something called neuroplasticity, and what that means is that our brains have got this amazing function where we can learn new things, and as long as we keep learning, and as we get older, you know, as long as we keep implementing new strategies and trying new things, we're always going to have that. So scientifically, yes, we absolutely can, but the person has to want to do that.
So talking about that, so in today's class this morning, Majli, the incredible entrepreneur that was running the program, she spoke about how she went from an engineer to one day just going, today's the day I'll change, and she decided to be an expert in digital marketing.
Yeah.
And she put all of her energy and love and time into it, and she became a global leader in this. And I see a lot of people coming to us to talk about that, like, I want to achieve this, but I don't know if I can. How can you motivate yourself, and what should you do to know that you're ready to take the next step? Like, what is this big shift? Why is it that so many people over the years, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of people coming to you, that they're not taking that step, that entrepreneurs like us, that we just go, I am doing this, no one can stop me. What happens in the brain, and how can we encourage those maybe that are listening to us today to take that step to connect with your life purpose, understand your strengths and weaknesses, but take action? So how can we encourage people to do that? What happens in the brain that so many people that we meet over the years, they live in the sameness, the routine, and they're scared of taking that step? Meanwhile, we know, and deep down, they also know that they should be doing it. So what happens in the brain, and how can we get people to take more action towards doing what is right for them, for the world, when it comes to making that big positive shift in their life so they can create that positive shift in the world? What are your thoughts on that? Like, what recommendations do you have so that people get unstuck, I guess it would be the right word?
Go for it, Nikki.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Maybe Gael, you can go, because you focus very much, your coaching business is very focused on business. And what we're talking about today is this mindset. Like, we're the ones that limit our thoughts and our potential. We can change and we can achieve the impossible, but we need to take that action. And this is why I always say, cross your future. So tell us.
So the thing is, first, is mostly because, like, as Nikki said, it only takes one decision to make the change, but sometimes this decision can take 20 years. And it just, you can change in a snap as long as you decide it. But like to make the decision, it needs enough leverage of that. Like, you need to be in an enough pain. Mostly, like, this is the pain that makes us move. Like, there's a point where you say enough is enough, and I'm going to move forward. Yeah. And it needs some people like to have this, like, this leverage, this, excuse my French, but this kick in the ass to move. Or
that's what a coach does, right?
Right, exactly. We not necessarily, but but yeah, like, and also, like, you need as well, like, some people like don't find their why, their motivation, because we all have this motivation. Why do you do that? Why do you do what you do? Is basically it's the core of what we are doing as a coach, is help people to find their why, what's their mission, what's their motivation, what's driving us. Because like without the drive, then whatever you do, you can copy whoever you won't get first the results, and also when you will face challenge, then you will get demotivated, because like, oh, okay, that's too hard, I don't want to continue. But if you have a strong enough why, a strong enough leverage to move forward, then even with the challenge, even when you will face challenges, you will want to move forward, you will want to overcome the challenge, you will want to break the wall, you will want to, you know, like jump, make the jump and all that. But like it needs to have that, we need to have like those both, the pain and the pleasure. And it needs to, like, the pain will make you move forward, and the pleasure, like, to what is pull you forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I love the comment, the pain and the pleasure, because it's so true. Because as an entrepreneur, like every time you have the pain of the challenge, like it's motivating because you love so much what you do that it gets you more and more addicted to the adrenaline of the next challenge, which is my next question for you, Gael, actually. So running a business or being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster.
Yes.
In the same day you can be nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year, then you get sued by something that you've never done, and then you have this bill that you weren't expecting to get, and then the person that had signed a contract was going to join your team, and then you see they're stuck in another country because of COVID and things like that. How do you suggest we can best deal with the challenge? Because we know that the Legends at Academy of Entrepreneurs, we have currently 68 nationalities. Yes. So all understand challenges differently.
The first thing I would say is, as an entrepreneur, your main job, your main role, and there's nothing on the side, is to solve problems. And you need to embrace that. You need to embrace that.
I love it.
As entrepreneurs, is to solve problems, because in the business, there's problem. And it's not like floating on the river. No, it's solving problems. So you need to embrace that. You need to embrace solving problems. So, and like what I would suggest, like as a tip, if I may, would be like to ask you those 3 questions. Actually, those are the most powerful question, which is, what would I need to have right now, right? What would I need to have right now to overcome this problem, this challenge? What is it, right? What would I need to do to get that, right? What would I need to do? Okay, I need that. What would I need to do in order to get that? Yeah. And then the last one, who would I need to become in order to do that, so I can get that? And most people don't realize that your identity is the most powerful things, and you need to become someone else, because who you are right now hasn't got the result so far, right? So you need to become someone else. You need to become like the one that can achieve things, the one that can solve the problems, the one that can get the things done. That's
and how do you suggest we do that? Do we mentalize someone that we are inspired by? So say someone like Oprah that Nikki mentioned. I love her. She's one of my role models. So how do you suggest we just embrace this new character, so this new superpower? So are there any techniques that you recommend us to use?
So for myself, I would say one of the things that I've seen so many times in the business area mostly is people try to model some strategies, right? They're trying to, oh, I'm going to do the same as this one. Oh, he's successful in this, I'm going to do the same. But the thing is, they don't get their mindset right. They don't get the beliefs that goes with what is he doing. Does that make sense? People try to get the strategy right, but it comes with the mindset first. The best strategy in the world won't get you the result you want if you don't have the right mindset. And as the opposite, the best mindset in the world with the worst strategy will get you more results than any other strategy. Just because you have this mindset. And one thing I could highly suggest is to put yourself in the model you like, and and tend to think about, okay, what this person is believing to do what is he doing, or to do what is she doing, right? What, like, if I want to be like you, Paula, I would say, okay, what do I need to believe? What do I need to believe in order to do what she's doing? Because you have a set of beliefs that drives you. And with this set of beliefs, the strategy can change with time. And we've seen that. The strategy you used before COVID is definitely not the same after COVID, right? But like, because you have the set of beliefs, you have the set of values, you have your identity that you can shift and you can adapt because you have the right mindset. The strategy is only 20%, and the strategy can be found in any library. Like, you can take a book about business, you will find a strategy. And from my point of view, I've worked 10 years in a bank. Every strategy is good as long as the mindset is aligned to the strategy.
Yeah, if you choose that you will succeed, like, you're over half of the way there, right?
Exactly. It's just like, and as I would say, like, model the belief system, model the mindset, this is what you need to model, not the strategy, because strategy can change, but the belief system and the mindset won't. Like, if you take Elon Musk, if you take like Jeff Bezos, if you, he's rich now, but like Steve Jobs, all those people, like, if you model them, they have the mindset, and the strategy has changed. Like for Apple have changed their strategy so many times, and just because like they have adapted and they have the right mindset. And it has nothing to do with the strategy. Does that make sense?
100%. That brings me to my next question. Talking about mindset, and Nikki is like the queen of understanding the mind. And I never even heard of the terminology until I met Nikki, when she started talking about this little voice in the head. And every time you talk, she's talking like this little, what is this little voice in the head, Nikki? And until what part should we be listening to the voice, and at what time can we like develop this new belief, mindset, and take action, like Gael's talking about? So what is this little voice, and how can we mold it into giving us the results that Gael's talking about?
Yeah, so I've got a really easy way to explain this. It's slightly different to how other people explain it, but I feel like this is the most effective. So it might not make sense at the beginning, but at the end it'll all come together. Okay. So your brain receives information through your 5 senses: hearing, seeing, smelling, touching, and tasting. So every time any of your senses are used, your brain receives information. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, from a very young age, your brain will be receiving all of this information. But between the ages of 0 and 7, you're in a different type of brainwave as compared to what adults are in. Mm-hmm. Which is really interesting, because what that means is that between the ages of 0 and 7, your brain doesn't really have a consciousness. Yep. So everything that you're taught, you believe, which is why we believe in Santa Claus and, you know, all of these other things that just aren't real. We don't have the capability to critical think. But as we get older, from the years of 7 onwards, our brainwaves start to change. And what that basically means is that our belief systems are started to form, and you've now got a consciousness. Mm-hmm. So your subconscious programming is actually around 90% of what we do. So 90% of how we act and how we behave and how we think and how we feel and our emotions is actually programmed, which is empowering, but also really scary to think, because what it basically means is that our brains have learned all of this information, and now it's kind of just programmed into us. So to give you an example, I could hold up, or let's say you was going down the street and you saw a black Mercedes, and let's say one of your ex-partners had a black Mercedes. So that would maybe, you see it through the sense of sight, and that would trigger a thought. And then your brain would kind of scan through these little files that we've got in our subconscious, and it'll go, what do we know about a black Mercedes, my ex-boyfriend? And then that could maybe go on like a bit of a thought pattern that brings up emotions and see what, like, it's connected to other different things. So essentially our thoughts are really just triggered by what we sense, and our brain will kind of figure out, well, what does that mean? What does that mean to us? So this is why we take things we can see something, or we can hear something, or we could smell something, or taste something, and it reminds us of other things which are connected to emotions. So it's empowering really to know that information, because what that means is that, you know, let's say that you feel like you're really triggered by certain things that you see or hear or smell. Okay, well, how can I start to understand those thoughts, and how can I start to reprogram that information? And the first thing that you should do really is just question it. So let's say, let's go back to the car example. You know, you see a car that reminds you of someone. You know, that's out of your control. You can't never choose to not see that car again. You're going to see it, but how do you deal with it differently? First of all, I would instantly ask myself, well, does this thought help me or hinder me? Like, does it help me to feel a certain way? Does it help me to start to feel anxious? Is this helpful?
Does it make sense, right?
Pardon?
Does it make sense? Is it needed?
Yeah. First of all, the main question, does this help me or hinder me? Is this going to ruin my day, or is it going to make my day better? Is it going to change my state positively or negatively? And it's probably going to be negatively. Okay, so how do I reframe that information? Just instantly start to reframe it to more positive, empowering language. So, you know, let's say it is about an ex-partner. I keep using that example because I feel like everyone can relate to it. But you know, you see something and it triggers you negatively. Does this help me or hinder me? Well, it hinders me. Okay, so how do I reframe that? Instantly it would be, well, do you know what? It's not part of my life anymore. We've moved on. And then you can just kind of continue on your day. But if you're able to intercept that thought, you're going to get caught in a little kind of, you've got an angel and a devil in your head where you're just having this conversation and you're like, which voice do I listen to? Just make sure that you can intercept these thoughts and really just start to reprogram what's going on in there.
And talking about that, I think it's also very important for us to say, like, the example of the car is one of the examples, but if you've had, like, let's say a bad business experience, you had a really bad business partner that stole money out of your business.
Yeah.
And yet you meet another potential co-founder that wants to become your business partner, and maybe they have the same name. Yeah. Automatically your brain's going to be like, right?
Yeah.
If you get like a new business partner with the same name, you're automatically business wise going to be like, so something like this is when exactly what Gael posted in the message is like, does this benefit me or not? But also, if you've been burned before, if an ex-business partner has stolen money out of your business, next time when you get suspicious, it's actually protect you. So it is a survival mode that is there to protect. So don't just go like, I know that the three of us are very positive. All of those that you guys are watching us for Facebook, Instagram, on Zoom today, we're very positive and we're always going to like, go take action. But also part of the reason why our brains react like this, we have around 80,000 thoughts a day. And 80% of them are negative and 95% of them are the same as the day before, is because in the past we were running away from danger. And the reality is that there are business dangers, such as putting the right systems in place, whether it's cybersecurity, managing your money, or building the right, I don't know, the way that you protect your data and your information, your IP, for example, or confidential information before you launch something. So take some time to, I think it's about us checking in and it's like self-awareness and just going, okay, the black car, why do I feel like this? When I hear this person's name, yes, maybe I had a business partner that did something really better for my business, but this person has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important for us to take some time and just analyze.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot with entrepreneurs, like you get two things. Some of them are too traumatized, they'll never go down that path again. And others, they just get excited about anything. Like I see that at entrepreneurs every day. We bring in a guest speaker and they go, woo, whatever the guest speakers say, I'm going to change my business model. I'm like, slow down. Like use your common sense. It's about the belief, but also using your knowledge and like combining all of them to go and make a responsible decision. So don't let your brain connect those dots and give you that emotion. Because maybe that emotion is preventing you from making the same mistake again. Because as entrepreneurs, every time we fail forward, but you also don't want to be making the same mistakes again and again and again, right?
Yeah. And one thing I'd just add to that is that we're human beings and we feel everything. We have an emotion to everything. And the biggest guiding map that we've got is our gut and our instincts. And that's one of the biggest things that I say to my clients, what does your instinct tell you? Because I can tell you or guide you all day long, but if it doesn't feel right, like, how does it feel? How does that decision feel? That's the biggest thing. You know, our thoughts can run wild, but our emotions are they're quite strong. It's our intuition, and we should always follow it.
Definitely. Talking about guts, do you have any recommendations? Because I love, like, for a while I was thinking of doing a research, like a PhD on combining entrepreneurship and guts. I'm very, very curious to hear about your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the gut? Like, what do you recommend us to eat or meditate? Is a specific, like, practice that you've incorporated into your life? Nikki, because I know that your background is nutrition, like I mentioned to everybody before. What are your thoughts? Because I just feel like everything comes out of here, because the hardest lines, the head of it thinks, but the gut is always right.
Yeah.
So
we actually have neurons in our gut, which is that, you know, the exact same things that are in our brains to help us think and operate. So when we say that our gut is really our second brain, it's true, because there's so much connection there, and food can really, you know, it optimizes our health. And if you fuel your body correctly, you will see that in your performance. Honestly, like, you know, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, make sure that you're eating a good range. Make sure that you're filling your plates with lots of healthy fruits and vegetables. I really just advocate for having a whole balanced diet, you know, making sure that you're staying away from any acidic foods or any processed foods. Still, you know, enjoy them when you want to, but as long as your diet's mainly full of proteins, small amounts of fats, small amounts of carbohydrates, and plenty of fruits and vegetables, you're going to be fine. And look, there's different ways to optimize your health, for sure, different vitamins and minerals, but it all really is person dependent. You know, so if you don't eat meat, which I don't, make sure that you're having your B12, make sure that you're keeping topped up on your iron, because that's going to make a huge difference for entrepreneurs if you've got low levels of iron. So just making sure that you're having a really, you know, balanced diet. I'm not an advocate for cutting out any specific food groups, but I really do think that we all have different things that work for us. Find what works for you, find what foods make you feel good. You know, you can download a food and mood diary from Google, and it literally just helps you put your food that you're eating in the day, and then tracking how it makes you feel. And we're all different, so what might be work for me,
taking those seconds to tracking it, analyzing, stopping, right? You eat something and you stop, just go, how do I feel? And it's okay to eat, like, I don't know, something that's deep fried one day a week that you're rewarding yourself, but don't eat the whole bowl of chips. But if it makes you or if it makes you feel bad, then stop eating it. I see so many people like, oh, I open a box of chocolate and I can't stop it over it. And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you are taking the action, you shouldn't be running a business, right?
Yeah. But the funny thing with that is that our eating habits are always backed up by emotions. So if somebody who's, you know, eating a box of something because they can't stop, really what is they're you know, managing their emotions eating. That's always the case. And I feel like everyone's guilty at that to a certain extent, but just knowing that, yes, you can stop, but you made the choice to not, you know.
Besides talking about optimizing the health, one of the topics we wanted to cover today is optimizing our happiness.
Yeah.
Happiness is within us, right? Anything can happen when you've got that interior peace. If you choose to be happy, you will become happy. So, Nikki, what tips do you have? Because, like, I've lived in third world countries and I've seen people with nothing that are just shining. Every time you speak to them, they're so grateful, they're so caring towards the community. And I've seen people that have everything here in Australia, and they come to me and they're just like, oh my God, my friend being, and they come to me and they just go, I can't do this, life is so hard. So what is happiness? Where is it also in the gut? And how can we have, I don't know if it's longer periods of happiness, or how can we be more aware? What's your recommendation when it comes to happiness? I think at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to have, like, we will also talk about productivity after with Gael, but it's once you're happy, you'll be more productive, you'll be healthier, you'll have better relationships, better business results. So what is happiness?
Yeah.
And how can we rewire ourselves to be more happy from your.
Okay, what I'm about to say is my and I just want to make that clear, because I feel like happiness is something different for everyone. Just like, you know, success, we can all feel successful or we can not, and it doesn't necessarily mean where we are, it just means how we feel about our situation. And I also really believe that that's what happiness is, because you can have, I mean, look at Robin Williams, for example. Peak of his career, or highest, you know, comedian in his career. He had a family. He seemed to have it all on the outside. He came across so happy and so friendly, but he was deeply unhappy and deeply depressed, which, you know, it wasn't, you couldn't really see that in the person that he portrayed. So we definitely know that happiness is not materialistic. It's not a state in terms of like where you're at in your career. It's not something that you can necessarily work towards. So then how do you find it then? Because if it's not in the job, and if it's not in the family, and it's not in the bank account, and it's not in the fancy car, then where is it? And I mean, for me, it's knowing that where you are right now, at one point you wanted to be at that place. So just being super, super present in the moment, not worrying about tomorrow, not worrying about what happened, you know, in the past. So staying present, being grateful. Gratitude is the easiest and quickest way to redirect your brain to all of the positives that are happening in your life. And I say my gratitude is every single day. It's something that's super important to me and has been for years. And I think that, you know, we all have these huge goals, especially everyone on this call will have these huge goals that we're working towards. And if we're just focusing on the goals, you're not going to enjoy the journey. And then when you get there, you're going to be tired, you're going to be burnt out, you're probably going to be, you know, you've not enjoyed your journey there. So you're going to get there and you're probably not going to enjoy what you've got at that stage, because the gap always gets. So when you get there, it just opens on this side. You don't just arrive somewhere and then automatically you're like, oh, this is happiness, because there's always more. We're human beings, and we're always forward. You know, I've had this conversation recently with one of my friends where we was like, the gap just keeps on growing. Like when you achieve something, like where does this stop? Like when does it stop? And it doesn't. But there's beauty in that, and you know, negatives in that. But if we can just learn to focus on right now and focus on the small things that we should be grateful for every day, it takes the pressure off everything else. I like to use a lot of analogies with my clients, and I say that, you know, when you're climbing a mountain, you don't stay focused on the top of the mountain, because if you did, your feet would slip, you might go the wrong way, you might fall over, and you'll get distracted and you won't be able to see where you're going. If you just focused on where your feet are going, you're going to get there quicker, you're going to be more accurate, and there's less chance of slips and falls. And it's just like when you're working towards a goal, you know, you can have your goal there and know that that's where you're going, but just focus on where your feet are going, focus on that 1%. And that really is like mastering the journey, mastering everything that you've got today is really where you find happiness for me.
I love you talking about like the 1%. Like if we all woke up and chose to be 1% braver or more productive or happier, like it's just, again, unlimited how much you can grow and just take yourself out of the comfort zone without even realizing. Because if we all think to ourselves, what would I do if I had 1% more courage in the next 24 hours? We automatically go to the 100%. And that's the power of the brain. Like you just need to take away the things that prevent you, stop you from progressing. So talking about productivity, Gael, what suggestions do you have? So currently I'm reading for the second time the Elon Musk book, and like it's just one of those books that you can't put down, and you just go, how does this man's brain work? And because like he's often criticized by the media, by investors, by so many, but his brain just works in a way, and he's got 24 hours like everybody else. How do you like coach your clients to have the right goals, stay productive, celebrate the wins? What recommendations do you have for us? Because it will help you also feel happier, like Nikki's talking about, because the gap is going to get bigger and bigger as an entrepreneur.
So I would just like thanks Nikki for sharing, because like this is exactly that. Like I've read the story about the astronaut, like, you know, those people who have walked on the moon, they all felt depressed after that, because like, what do you do after walking on the moon?
Yeah.
So like, I love that you should focus on the journey and not another thing. So what do you do? First, like Elon Musk, as I said just before, you need to model he has a set of belief that helps him in the way of doing what he's doing. And actually, Elon Musk is really like the most like, for me, is an extraterrestrial, because like, is an extraterrestrial because like, he plays a lot as well of games. He do like some crazy stuff, and he's still productive. So I think the most important thing is to know what is your outcome. If you want to be really productive in your business, is knowing exactly what is your outcome. What do you want? What's the result you want? Like, because many people think about the how first, like, oh, how can I do that? How can I do that? But when you think about the how, it's almost like if you have done a road trip and you think about the how, is almost like you jump in the car and you start driving and not wonder, oh, where am I going? But you're already in the car. But you need to think about the outcome first. Okay, where do I want to go? Where is my destination? And from there, ask yourself, why do I want that? Why? What?
Why, right? The
Right.
why is...
The why is like, you always need to think about your why. Why do you want that? Because like, maybe you're focusing, like Nikki talk about like health and fitness, but let's say, okay, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 10 kilos. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to start running. But after a week of running, I figure out that, oh, I don't like running. Am I going to do that? No, because like, yeah, I don't like running. But you thought about the how instead of why. Why do I want to lose weight? Oh, I want to feel confident. I want to feel like more into my body. I want to feel more like, I want the girls to look at me at the beach, whatever the reason is, right? But then you're going to find new ways of doing it. You can change your diet. You can go to the gym. You can do swimming. Now you have many options, because you know your why. You know why you're doing it. And in the business, it's the same thing. What do you want? What kind of results? What is your outcome? And why do you want that? Okay, I want to do my marketing. Okay, what's the marketing? I want to get like 100 clients in a webinar, for example. Okay, why do I want that? Because like, I want to help 100 entrepreneurs before the end of the year.
Right, they go from being 100 to helping 100 entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
Everything. It changes everything.
Exactly, because now you have new ideas. You have new. Okay, I could do that. I could do that. You have a list of now ideas. Your how will come quicker. And I'm gonna quote Elon Musk as well. If you have like a plan to do something in 1 year, try to do it in 3 months, because now you will face all the problem within 3 months. You might end up with a working project, which is great, because you're gonna save 9 months. And if it's not working, you still have 9 months to start again.
and you progressed at a speed faster than any competitor, any other business, any other industry has ever done.
Yeah. Progress, your mindset will change, and also the way you think, because now you're going to cut all the non-essential things to do. Does that make sense? You're going to go with the one thing or the 1 or 5 things to do that are the most important. And in the business, this is like the most important thing. Most people focus on so many details, so many things, instead of focusing on the important things. And there's a saying that keep the important thing important, like, you know, like keep the one thing. And most entrepreneurs like don't do that, like, because like they get trapped into that. Oh, I want the perfect website, I want a perfect Facebook page, I want a perfect post, I want everything perfect. But no, get yourself out there, start selling, start getting clients, start talking about your project, start pitching yourself. That's the most important, because without clients, your website will be useless. Your Facebook page.
Mistakes, you will never improve.
Exactly.
You know, start today.
Start today with what you have and improve. Like, I love the canny things, like constant and never ending improvement, always improving. But the thing, you need to start somewhere. And like this morning I had like, I'm going to share like one of my experience this morning. I had one client and it was like, oh, it's been like 3 months. And he is like, oh, I don't know about the name of my website. I don't know about, so he hasn't started because he's hesitating about the name of his website. So this morning I said, okay, look, do you have your credit card on yourself? Yes. Okay. What's the name you picked? Oh, this is this. Okay. Book the name. Okay. He booked the name. So now he's starting, but you wait 3 months because, oh, you know, I'm not sure about the name, but just start. And actually clarity is preceded by action, and action is preceded by decision. So take a decision, put an action, and then you're going to get clarity. And I love to ask all my clients, I ask all my clients, do you have a favorite ice cream flavor? Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor? Everybody has a favorite ice cream flavor. How do you know it's your favorite? Because you've tried it. You've tried many flavors before, saying, oh, I love chocolate, I love vanilla, I love mint chocolate, I love coffee, I love whatever you love, but you've tried it. And sometimes you've tried one, oh, I love this one, this is, wow, the best one. Until you try a new one and you said, oh, this one is even better than the previous one. And action is always like the thing to do, because action will help you to get clarity and move forward and get like things done, because many entrepreneurs get trapped in the non-productive things because like they're hesitating. I don't know what to do. Just do something. When you don't know what to do, just do something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I love that you said that, because I had a conversation today with someone, and someone asked me how long ago I'd started my business, and I said, well, I branded my company 18 months ago, and they said, has it happened how you thought it would, or has it grown how you thought it would? And I burst out laughing. I was like, no, no, of course not. Like, but it's funny that was his first question, because he obviously, if it had, that would to him would have probably meant it's been successful, but it never happens how you think it's going to. So as long as you're procrastinating on taking action on something, well, it's not going to work out how you think it's going to anyway. You're going to need like so many more steps in there.
Being present. And this is something, my life has been a roller coaster every day, I think, since I was born. And I've always loved it. Like, and a lot of people like build so much expectation, right? Before they go on holidays, they over-research the place. And then the photos you see on Google, it's not the reality. Or they go in and they memorize everything in the menu, and they go in there and they expect the food to taste like this, and it's not going to be as good. And this is the power of the brain. It's about just being in the moment and not. I just think that a lot of people that we speak to, it's the same with expectation of, doesn't business going to look like? Absolutely. Your business will change absolutely every day, the same way that you change as an individual every day. Your body changes every day. Seasons change. Like everything changes in 2020, 2021. And I think that's so like, and this is an exciting part of being an entrepreneur. It's the journey, the excitement of every day being a new day. Every day is an opportunity for you to start, get better, healthier, more productive, more grateful every day. But take time to check in with yourself. Check in how you're feeling, what emotions, what are your thoughts. Check in and be grateful with those achievements in the last hour, the last day, or even just be grateful for attending this chat that we're having today, and write down the 3 main things that you learned and look at them again tomorrow, and then just tomorrow go to another webinar and take steps every single day, right? Like it's the biggest thing that can be so helpful, but at the same time prevent us from achieving things, from being happy, for acknowledging the beauty we have. I'm sorry, we are so lucky, all of us, every single one of us, computer technology, entrepreneurship, being part of this community. And still at some stage, all of us, like at least if it's a stack in a day, we stop and we're not like 100% positive and happy. It's just like, it's crazy. Every time I catch my brain doing something like that's not positive, I'm just like, go away. And I completely delete it. And I've rewired my brain. I'm like, go, 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 go. And it's so powerful, so powerful. And then whenever I feel something that needs a strategy, I'll stop and I'll Google and I'll speak to the coach or a mentor, an ambassador or something. But it's just about acknowledging, just quickly action, get it away, solve it, move, action forward every single day. And I love to know, we only have 10 minutes together, guys, and I wanted to leave 5 minutes for questions. If the two of you could go back to day one of being an entrepreneur, what recommendation would you give yourself? Okay, Gael, you're laughing. You go first.
Yeah, I would say like get a coach from day one. Get a coach from day one, and I would have gone really faster in my journey. Just because, like, I don't know for you, Nikki, but at first I wanted to try everything myself, and I wanted to like figure out everything myself. And when I say a coach or mentor or like, who do you think is going to help you the most at this point, and find someone who has already done what you're going to do, and find this person first day, because like I would have saved so much time. That's,
and time is money when you're running a business.
Exactly, and save a lot of money as well. Like this is like the only thing I would have said to myself. And just because like, since I've started with a coach, a mentor, and like, you know, like now I have a nutrition coach, I have a fitness coach, I have like a mindset coach, I have a business coach, and it just like my life has just improved so much, that just because like you have like the right someone who's always asking you, oh, is it going to help you or not? What are you doing? What is like always questioning yourself, like, oh, or maybe not, and you can like readjust. It's almost like you're the captain of your boat, but you have someone with like the glasses and saying, hey, there's an iceberg in front of you. Do you want to continue? Oh, maybe not. And you just can steer the wheel.
And where do you suggest we find coaches? So we've got 2 coaches today online here with you guys that are amazing opportunities. Where did you guys find your coaches? How do you know that that's the right coach at the right time? And also, when do you know? Because one thing that I've seen personally is that I've had coaches that completely disrupted my way of thinking and improving, but it got to a point that you get really excited, and after maybe, I don't know, I find my life works a lot in like 120-day cycles. And then after 120 days, you just go, I need someone that can take me to the next level, because as a business, like I love businesses that progress and scale very fast. Yeah. How do you suggest we find these coaches and the right coach for the right time? There's a certain amount of questions, besides of course the energy, because that's super important. Like I 100% trust you both with my eyes closed, but I've built a relationship with you guys. So there's also that special chemistry, because I love your whys and I love your personality and your lifestyle, and so it's all connected. So how do you guys suggest we choose the right coach and ask the right questions? Is it important to the qualification that they studied, or getting referrals, or Googling? What do you suggest we do when we're looking for the coach?
Well, I would suggest, I mean, there's so many coaches out there, and I think you really need to be aware of that the coaching industry isn't really highly regulated, so it doesn't take much to become a coach. So just because someone's saying that they're a coach, do your research, you know, and there's a lot of pressure as well. Well, not pressure, but there's a lot of kind of vocabulary that coaches use, where they're like, you know, high ticket, high conversion, like this kind of stuff. And just be really careful of first of all what they're saying to you, but do your research, check their testimonials, but don't just take them at face value. Go deeper, contact people. You know, what was your experience working with this person? And I feel like Instagram is a really great place to meet coaches, because it's really hard to not, you know, with people tagging on their testimonials, and it's really hard to being fake on Instagram. And LinkedIn is a great place to find someone, but I think I've always found my coaches on social media or through connections. So, and referrals is a great place to, but just be super careful because there's so many bad coaches.
A technique that I've used over the years for coaches, because often coaches, they have a package, right? Because it's better. I mean, it's not just that one coaching session will give you an impact, but if you're there for the cycle, normally it's like a 10 session package. What I do is I never care about the rules. It's like, oh, we've got 12 touch points or 10 touch points. I'm like, I will buy one. I don't care how much it costs, but you test the one. And I make sure that I buy and pay for it to get the real experience. Because often when they do the free, it could be very wow, wow, wow. And they've got the standard little wow show that they run, but it's not the same. So I make sure that I pay. And then I always go from 1 to 10. How much was it worth my time? More than the money. How much was it worth my time? How much have they disrupted my way of thinking? What have they like? What were their recommendations? Have I connected with them? Because I find that when you pay for things, they just work better and you value them more. Like just the psychology on the brain.
Yeah.
That's what I normally do. A lot of it, and yes, there's rules, but at the end of the day, a coach isn't individually working. So it's not like you're not buying an iPhone at retail price that you can't negotiate. Like, and even that's negotiable these days, you know? So go in and buy one. And if you felt a connection and you felt like it was productive and got you to your, like, if you have a why before you start and they help you get closer to it, go for it. And Nikki, what recommendation would you give yourself? Because you've done so much. I've seen so much of like your business, your mindset, your products, your services in the last year or so. So what recommendation would you have given yourself on if you start again as day one of an entrepreneur and you've been an entrepreneur for a long time?
Yeah, I think honestly, you know, I would have started my business a long time before. I remember having the thought about my business like 2 years before I actually started. And the thing that held me back was my self-belief. And I was like, oh my God, it's exactly what Gail was saying earlier, like how? And just try, it's really difficult to do it by yourself, but just, you know, try and take action on it in any way. And I really found networking and connecting with different people. Something which I heard when I was like 20 years old was like, if you meet someone who's in a position where you want to be, ask them, what's your biggest tip? Like take as much as you can from that person and, you know, be respectful of their time. But if you're in someone's company, what's your biggest tip? What's your biggest tip? And I used to go to conferences in like Vegas and all over Australia, all over the UK, and I would listen to speakers and I would wait to speak to people and be like, what's your biggest tip? And, you know, it all comes back to this self-belief and that you've just got to keep pushing yourself. And also going back to what you were saying earlier, Paula, about happiness and where do we find that? I think a huge thing what we missed to speak about was that seeking outside validation. So seeking validation or approval from other people to say like, yeah, that's a great idea, go ahead. Like, some people will not believe in you for years. Like some people need to see evidence of your success before believing you. And that's something that I found as well, because my background was not in coaching. I used to back in the UK. And then when I started to retrain into coaching, it was a little bit like, oh, what's this? What are you doing? And I'm quite lucky in the sense that my mindset was, you know, really strong and I was really focused and I knew that I wanted this business. And it didn't really matter if other people didn't believe me. But 2 years prior, I let that put me off.
And it's a very interesting point that you're sharing, Nikki, because if you read, I don't know, any of the books or podcasts, if you speak to any of these incredible leaders that are changing the world, when you find your why, no one understands your why except yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody will think you're crazy. And I think if your dream, I actually made a post on Instagram about that. If your dreams don't scare you, it means that they're not big enough.
Yeah.
So understand your why. And then what I always ask myself, so I use 2 techniques, which is, what is the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
What is the worst that can happen? And another thing, talking about the mindset and the belief and breaking these boundaries, I often do that with the team at a cancer. And sometimes even on sessions with the legends, I'm like, okay, if you were Bob Marley, how would you solve this? If you're Musk, how would you solve it? And then it just gets like Edward de Bono uses like the 6 hats of thinking for problems. How would you think of the problem as the marketing manager of the company, as the finance manager? Because it really helps. What happened?
I think the bird just window. God, that's really made me laugh.
So important for us to just break those limits that we put in the brain and just look at like, okay, how would my grandmother like name the business? What color would my goddaughter pick for the business? And look at it from that, and then just start taking all of that away, and then you have a fresh perspective. I love talking to people that are completely from the other industry. And when you pitch your business and you start seeing that you're clearly communicating the idea they're understanding, but also seeing the random questions that they ask, and like often there's so many good ideas that you can get from it. And it just shows like our brain is a little sponge and can be inspired and empowered by so many people. But you need to be open and just go, what's the worst that can happen? And how would other people do it? Why am I saying I can't, I won't, this is impossible? No, it's not. Everything is absolutely possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything. So guys, thanks for sharing. We have, I can see Kimia has just joined. She's also, Kimia is this adorable student at Academy of Finance, and she runs this beautiful business to empower women from the Japanese community and culture into becoming girl bosses, building businesses and creating an impact, which is something that is disruptive in the Japanese community. So thanks for joining us, Kimia. So guys, we have probably time for one question only. Does anyone want to ask a question? You can turn on your camera or just unmute yourself. Who wants to ask a question? So we've got here Noel, Valentina, who's also an alumni for Academy of Finance that is now studying to be a yoga instructor, which is amazing. What questions? Does anyone have a question? Victor, Jesse, Angela, that I met yesterday. Anyone has a question? Okay, I don't think we've got anyone has a question. So guys, any final messages? We've got 1 minute left together. Any final tips, Nikki and Gael?
Oh, I had one earlier, but it's gone out of my head. I was thinking we need to touch on this, but I can't think of anything right now.
When you think about it, just send me a message and we'll do an Instagram live and then we can share it. And by the way, Nikki, apparently we found the Instagram live that you and I did. It's somewhere saved in the back of Instagram. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, apparently there's like a little feature in the back. Gael, what about you? Any final message?
Yes, I will concur on what Nikki said, like take action. What it is the most important thing, like the more action you're going to take, the easiest it's going to be, because like the more, whatever the action is, it can be a very small action, like maybe having this call, or maybe just finding the person who already do what you want to do, or maybe just like asking for help, or whatever the action is, but like always have that in mind, that always take an action towards what you want. And because like if you're not taking action, then you're gonna, as Nikki said, and I love what you said, and like our guys also like take a lot of notes all the time as well, like it's gonna help you as well. So this, and always like action. For me, action is everything. And
what you said, Gael, it's understanding the why before you also take action.
Yes, but you need to find why do you want to do that?
I love that. It's such an important step of the journey.
But like once you have your why, like once you know why, then take action. And also like remember that your why is not a tattoo. It can change through times, because like if like exactly Bill Gates, his why at first when he started Microsoft was like he wanted to be the #1 software in the world. Right? This was his why. I want to be the #1 software in the world, which he did. And then now his why is a totally different why. He wants to help more people with like his like non-profit organization, and it's different why. But like you need to find what drives you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's my final word.
100%. So thank you, my dears, for sharing these tips, sharing your why, inspiring, empowering, giving us all of these tools. Thank you so much. This was incredible. So for all of you guys that joined us, thank you so much. We will be, if you guys are okay with it, we will be uploading this to YouTube. Are we okay with sharing this on YouTube, so that we can share more of the message? And guys, please remember to follow Nikki and Gael on Instagram and their Instagram business pages. Visit the websites. Both of them have been designing beautiful ebooks. So follow, reach out, ask questions. Also, send us a little message on what you have seen as progress by tomorrow, the day after, the day after, because we want to celebrate your wins with you. And we also want to feel like it's just so nice hearing feedback and seeing how we are able to help you guys get bigger and better and more productive and happier every single day. Oh, we're getting some beautiful messages. Thank you everybody for joining us. If you want a copy of this recording, also message us. And yeah, let's stay in touch and hopefully we can do this again in a couple of months. Big hugs.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Gail. Bye.
Joining us. Bye.